Well, hi there folks. Right, finally some exciting news. It looks like after a long and arduous journey that I'm within a whisker of some proper FPV flying with radio controlled planes. First step of course was finding a suitable RC plane for this job. Something big and stable with a decent sized battery bay. Basically I wanted something that would fly itself. And my number one candidate is the multiplex Twinstar, which now I've got it sorted, flies like it's on rails, although it has been a pain in the from the start because the manual actually gave the wrong centre of gravity, and it took me a while to actually get it sorted properly. Videos are online about that. So having sorted out the aircraft, next step of course is VTX equipment, and as I discovered later, flight controller, so SpeedyBee F405. Been a long journey. As far as the video side of the FPV kit goes, I'd already done a few tests with analog equipment, just about got that working, and then along came the Ascent Lite digital FPV at a price I could afford, half the price of some of the other previous digital stuff. So needless to say, I've upgraded to digital, and then of course, as I said, I was strongly advised by friends that fly FPV that you need to install a flight controller. So that began my SpeedyBee journey and learning all about INAV, which was quite a journey in itself. So following that, quite a few tests with the SpeedyBee, and just last week I finally did a loiter and return to home test with the Speedy installation in the Twinstar. So what comes next, you might ask? Well, it had to be a video range test with the Ascent Lite VTX and the goggles. So basically that's what this video is about. It's the video test for the Ascent Lite and the goggles. But before getting into those videos, and a slight drawback I found with the Ascent Lite goggles and a rather stupid mistake I made, let's take a look at the Ascent Lite kit. First off, the Ascent Lite goggles. I saw comments online that they weren't particularly comfortable. I have added more foam and a head strap, but anyway, 1080/60, as you'll see, the results when I finally sorted it out were good. Other problem I discovered with Ascent, this is quite an important one, it records to the card. You've got on-screen display that you set up in INAV, so you can see the details of what's going on, return to home, distance to home, height zones, what mode you're in. But once I downloaded the card, I discovered that the on-screen display that you're seeing on your goggles doesn't actually get rendered onto the video on the card, and it is quite nice to see that. It's useful information. I found some free software called VueOSD, and after 3 attempts managed to get it installed. These are the files you see when you remove the card from the goggles and open it in your PC. You've got MP4 file, which is the video, you've got an SRT file, which is a subtitle file, and you've got the OSD file. So it's a question of opening the VueOSD software by clicking on the BAT file here, and then dragging the files, MP4 and OSD file, to the top left corner there. Hit preview and you should see an image there, and then hit render down in the corner and it will just render the on-screen display onto your raw footage. So that's how I sorted that. As far as the video quality goes, bear in mind these are directional goggles, and so had I been wearing them, they were on the ground near my feet for this test because I was flying at line of sight. Had I been wearing them, the video signal would have been much better. The megabytes per second, which should be around the 25, would have been much better, and the video quality in general would have been better. So that's goggles. I'll just show you my VTX Lite mounted here on a mount that I've made that goes in here. As I say, one important thing to mention here is all the videos I've seen on this warn you that it will get very hot very quickly. So I've actually wired this in such a way that I've got a switch. So once you're satisfied that you're ready to take off, in other words, you've checked you've got enough satellites, you're in the right mode, everything's connected properly, very last thing to do before taking off is turn on the power and obviously check with your goggles that it's bound and you've got a signal. I wasn't planning to wear the goggles, I wasn't flying FPV, they were just sat on the grass there, but I glanced at them and could see that I had an image there, so I had bound. Unfortunately, silly mistake was I hadn't taken the transparent cover off, and first two videos had a very blurry effect. It's not going to happen again because that transparent cover I've now actually marked with black marker pen, so that if I look at it and it's still on, I'm not going to see an image, I'm going to see a black screen. And obviously that will probably alert me to the fact that I've not taken the cover off. But anyway, you live and learn by these mistakes, and there is a lot to think about when you're flying FPV compared to just chucking a plane in your car, charging your batteries and charging your transmitter. But we live and learn. Before showing you the before and after good clips, I will show you a short clip from the blurry flight, because first flight I wanted to see how high I could get and still see it, which was actually about 485 feet. But after that, the decent clips. As far as connecting the camera goes, I've actually got a connector there so that I can connect to the SpeedyBee flight controller via that. Plus, as you can see, it's got a servo, and that collects to that. So once it's in the air, I have potential using channel 4, which is rudder and not in use on this. I've got potential to actually rotate it. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to say here. Any questions, stick them in comments below. I'll do my best to answer them, although there are people online who are better equipped to answer questions on that, like Lee, Painless 360 and Andrew Newton. But if you found it useful at all, please give it a like, and why not subscribe if you want to see the next videos coming up, where hopefully I'm getting some good FPV footage from this, and I'm using a spotter, of course, because that is the requirement. Right, stop talking, let's see this video, Bob. So this is the video you see when you click on the raw file straight from the SD card. You've got the signal, channel, flight times, battery level, and most importantly, bit rate. And you've got delay, which is a cadence or whatever they call it. So that's what you see, but what you're not seeing is the on-screen display that is actually displayed on the goggles while you're flying it. And it's quite a useful thing to have on your screen once you've flown and want to analyze your flight. Now this one here shows you just what you shouldn't do. This is the same thing, but with the on-screen display and that silly flight I did, where I still left that transparent lens cover on, but that is the OSD on it. Let me just show you, but finally, before I actually get to showing you the good footage where I haven't got the lens cover on, just wanted to show you this, where I actually first flight got to 147 meters above takeoff, 148 there, which is actually 482 feet, and I could just about still see it from at 482 feet. Oh, as you can see, actually, it's also telling me I'm en route to home. And the arrow there goes green, which I thought was brilliant. It goes green when I'm on the way back to the airfield. So this is actually nice stuff to be able to see on your screen when you're flying, but it's also quite interesting to see it later when you've actually landed. But let's get on with it. This is some proper footage of the last flight where I actually have got the takeoff and I did a quick circuit and a landing. See what you think of that. And bear in mind also, as I said, that goggles are actually on the ground. I wasn't flying at FPV, so at times the bit rate goes way down. So here it is, quite a short flight. But you can see here, that's telling me that I'm in horizon mode. This is telling me battery percentage left. That's telling me amps I'm drawing. So on takeoff it's about 12 amps. That's telling me flight duration. That's telling me signal strength, distance from home, altitude above sea level, altitude above takeoff, signal strength again there, number of satellites, which is not bad at all, 22 satellites, and obviously that's latitude and longitude. As far as the 4 labels in the bottom right go, that refers to switches on my tiny little Radio Master transmitter, and doesn't actually bear any relation to what the switches are doing. I still have to investigate how to actually edit those or remove them. Right at the bottom of the screen on the right, you can see what the bit rate is per second, but as I mentioned a couple of times, because the goggles are actually set on the ground, and they're directional, I'm not actually getting a very high bit rate there, so at times it's even dropping to 1 megabyte per second, 2 mega. Yeah, obviously they're much better on your head looking at the plane, which they will be next time I fly it, because I will have a spotter and be flying legally. And this, I wasn't using goggles. You can see there it's pixelating and going a bit off there. 1 megabyte per second, not enough. But keep an eye on this one. Hopefully, as I'm getting down towards landing, which I am, there's the strip. I think any minute you might be able to see me. What's my height? 37 meters above, so about 100 foot, shall we say. Here I am. And I actually managed to do this flight without getting into the trees over there, which if you're following my channel, you will see I've done a few times. So it's been a good test, all in all, to actually check out just how well the goggles are working, and the whole system really ready to go. And next time with a spotter, I shall actually hopefully try it for real. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like, and why not subscribe if you want to see some more flights with some proper FPV flying. But until then, bye for now.